Good afternoon. This is Isaac Newton, and this is another mini episode of Religion is Mental Illness. I've been doing a little communicating today on Facebook. I should probably start distributing through other social media outlets as well, but that's not really that important. And I think when it comes to this debate, because there's a big debate about, obviously, about religion, between religions, and obviously between atheists or humanists, secularists like myself, about this existence of just starting off with an existence of God. Never mind all the bullshit that comes with religion. And I wanted to talk about this because I had sort of a debate conversation today about the validity of the Bible. And as I was having this conversation, first I was going through kind of all the paces that as a Christian, I used to go through sort of all of my apologetics, all of my arguments for Christianity and why Christianity was the way to go and everybody else was wrong. And, there's only one true God and his name is Yahweh, and et cetera, et cetera. I started in my mind going through these paces and thinking, okay, what argument is going to come up next? What would I have said? And then it kind of dawned on me, apologetics don't matter. Now, I know there's this gentleman today, one of the things that he stated was regarding, the field of theology and how critical theology is to what we believe and how we live. Maybe that's going too far, but essentially there's a whole field of theology. People have been studying religion for, you can say studying religion for hundreds of years, but really, learning and writing and being intellectually engaged with religion for thousands of years. At least 6,000, probably more. People were burying their dead more than 10,000, 15,000 years ago. I don't have the numbers in front of me, but people were in America 14,000 years ago. So we've been doing it for a while. And the importance of this the importance of this theology and why it's relevant is, it builds this intellectual discourse where people discuss, the validity of religion and what is God and who is God, and what are we supposed to believe and how are we supposed to live our lives, and et cetera, all according to religion. And what really dawned on me was none of this is relevant. None of it matters. Theology is a moot point. And to go through this spectrum that religious people go through about their religion, their books, their scriptures, who's in charge of what, who said what great thing, it doesn't matter. Because until you can prove that there is a God, until you can prove that there's a reason to have all of this religion, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what you think about it or how you think you should live because of a book or what you've been, preached to in church. None of this matters. None of it's even remotely important at all. And I know that, the debates that go on in our world and in America, especially right now and going forward, all of these debates surrounding this are continually resulting in the perpetuation of an influence on legislation and rulings in Congress and on the state level, at the federal level, city level. All of these things are being heavily influenced by the existence of religion. And all of these people who are saying, well, religion is real, God is real, blah, 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 that doesn't give you the right to influence anything. That actually should dictate that you should not be allowed to make decisions, because your decisions are going to be specifically biased. Now, obviously that's wishful thinking. And there's plenty of, there's more to this, because if I'm going to say that you're religious and therefore you're incapable of making rational decisions, then I have to say what qualifies me to make rational decisions. And I'm going to go further and say no one person, everybody should be involved. And it's very difficult to do. There's more and more people, and we're currently in an age where the rich are getting richer, the poor are getting poorer, poverty is spreading faster, and the result here is, making any rules, making any legislation, it's going to rub somebody the wrong way. And so we come down to democracy, which is really the majority vote should be able to pass legislation. But there needs to be boundaries. There needs to be a point where this, you can't make laws and you can't dictate how other people should live just because you think they should, or just because a book says so, just because your religious doctrine dictates to you how you should live. That doesn't mean that it dictates to everyone else how they should live. There's no right to that. You don't have a right, and in the scope of human rights, and I guess this is the human rights according to Isaac, but you don't have the right to tell other people what they should and shouldn't believe, or tell them what's real and what's not real. You just don't have it. There's no grounds anywhere for that sort of behavior, for that sort of dictation of legal matters. Being religious doesn't mean that you should be in charge. I believe, as you may know by the title of the program here, I believe that religious people are mentally ill. I believe that they are believing in collectively. Religious people believe collectively in a mass delusion. They believe that the things they feel and the things they think during church or any other part of their life is somehow somehow related to the existence of whatever or whoever God is. Again, it doesn't matter. I don't care what you think. I don't care if you think God is real. I don't think it matters what you think is right and wrong, especially based on the judgments of a religious manuscript. And the importance to this, and I suppose I'm sort of rambling, based on the nature of how I do this, and maybe someday I'll get more detailed, but based on the nature of how I do this, I'm subject to rambling or losing my focus. I apologize for that. Hopefully you're still listening, all three of you. The importance here of what I'm trying to say, this argument doesn't start with, is the Bible right? Is the Quran right? Are the Buddhist texts right? It doesn't start there. This argument starts with, prove it. Prove that there's even a reason to believe that any book, any religious manuscript should exist. It doesn't matter. I can't go and start telling a group of people that I've never met that I'm in charge or that I have some authority without some sort of credential. And the Bible is not a credential. You don't have the right. And this is obviously the big debate, is what rights do we have? What rights don't we have? But essentially, if you're religious and you're trying to pass doctrine and you're trying to establish, laws and legislation that is based on religious doctrine, if you're trying to lead other people, really, if you own a company and your company isn't a church and you have potentially non-religious employees, you shouldn't be telling them how they can and can't live their lives. And this is it should be fundamental, but it's not, because it continues to go on. We continue to see this Roy Moore bullshit. People are trying to keep anti-Roy Moore billboards from going up, but that's a rumor. I haven't established any, I haven't read in the newspaper that that's true or anything like that, but it's the hearsay on Facebook, which means it's, about a 50-50 chance that it's true. What we do know is this man's been accused of child molestation. This man has been accused of pedophilia. And rather than base decisions on what's logical, what's reasonable, the people of the state of Alabama, or a large majority of them, are still trying to back Roy Moore because they're concerned that if they back anybody besides Roy Moore, that they're going to lose their position. Guess what? I got bad fucking news. You idiots already voted. You already cast the ballot for a moron. You cast the ballot for an immoral, misogynistic, self-important, conceited, arrogant piece of shit who is at this point suspected of early stage dementia because everything he says is ridiculous. And beyond whether or not he's ruining our country, he's making decisions that are hurting other people, and on a massive scale. He's doing enormous amounts of harm to people, to the country, to the world, really. Our global community is suffering because of this same just bullheaded, bullshit, this ideal that you have to be right, and you have to be right so much so that it's more important that you put the right guy, even if he's a pedophile, even if he's a pervert, if he's doing things that should be unthinkable. What you're saying is that's okay. You know what? That guy can be in charge because he's got he's a conservative, he's a Republican, so he should be in charge because our choice is pedophile and a child molester for office to make leadership decisions and legal decisions over a very prominent and intelligent figure, over somebody who, regardless of his political affiliation, is also just smarter than you. It doesn't matter. If you're making decisions, if you're voting because you want to keep your ideals more than you want to keep rationality, more than you want to make good decisions or well-informed or wise decisions, if you're biased towards the religious and conservative aspects of a person going into office, even if they're fucking little kids, you're crazy. You are mentally ill. As a population, you're a crowd. You're a mass of people that is delusional. You are mentally ill. And until you can really see reality for what it is, you honestly don't deserve the right to vote. I wouldn't want Charles Manson voting for me, for anybody in office. Nobody needs to vote for me. I'll never be a politician. You don't have the right to make these decisions, because what you believe and what you're making these decisions based upon is destructive. It's self-serving. It's not what you think it is. It's not benevolent. It's not helpful. It's destructive. It has a history of destruction. It has killed millions of people. It destroys families. It destroys lives. It segregates, and it's for centuries and millennia. Your belief in some sort of ridiculous, invisible friend is, it's fucking crazy. This has been another mini episode of Religion is Mental Illness. My name again is Isaac Newton, and I'll see you next time.